Hello everybody, and welcome back to the VictoryXR Academy tutorial series. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a follow-up to the previous Snapshots tutorial, detailing how you can perform some more advanced techniques using snapshots to set up your classroom spaces prior to your lessons to help things run smoothly. We're going to go ahead and call this video 12.5 to indicate that it's kind of a follow-up to the previous snapshots tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a table here. I'll also bring in a video screen. So what I'm doing here is I'm just setting up a basic classroom environment, and we're going to call this our static snapshot. So this is going to consist of all of the elements in your classroom space that you don't want students to be interacting with. So the tables, the screen, all of these elements, we want these to be part of a snapshot that students aren't going to be manipulating and moving around, right? So check this out. So I'm just going to go to where I want my snapshot bubble to be, as detailed in the previous tutorial. Take a snapshot. I'm going to call this static. There we go. Save that. There you go. I'll go ahead and clear out my objects, clean everything up. So I'm going to bring in my snapshot, right? Load an original location. So here's everything, right? So all of my objects are contained within my snapshot here. So everything is brought in exactly how I want it, right? But now I want to bring in objects that I do want students to interact with. I want to populate these tables with interactive objects that I want my students to mess around with and do activities with. So that's going to be my interactive snapshot. So let's go ahead and bring in our good old human organs here, blow it up a smidge, put it there, make a couple other ones, bring in some brains, brain, and then small intestine, why not? Small intestine, small intestine, small intestine. There we go. So we have our interactive objects too. So here's how it's going to work. So we put all these where we want them. First, I'm going to clear out my first snapshot. So all these are just floating in midair here, but they're still where we want to leave them. Let's check this out. I'm going to take another snapshot. I'm going to call this interactive. Save that snapshot just like that. Do a little bit of cleanup. So now I got two snapshots, my static one and my interactive one. Here's how these two are going to play together. I'm going to go ahead and bring in first my static snapshot. Good. Then bring in my interactive snapshot. Good. Now, when you want your students to be able to interact with these, because right now your students aren't going to be able to mess around with these because they're part of the snapshot, right? They're not broken apart yet into their individual pieces. So when it comes time for the students to interact with these objects for their activity, you first, want to follow this exact order of operations here. Find your interactive snapshot bubble. First, share the bubble. So the snapshot itself becomes shared. Then ungroup it. If you follow those two things in order, you'll notice that now all of the individual pieces that make up that snapshot all become shared at once, meaning that in one fell swoop, your students can now interact with all of the objects and begin their activity, while also still not being able to mess around with the static snapshot. That's the one that contains our tables and our video screen there. So that gives you an idea of how you can create concurrent snapshots, one static and one interactive, to set up your activity spaces long before your classroom session actually starts, so that you can have your students interact with your activities on the fly, just like that. Very good. So I'll see you guys in the next tutorial, and have a great day.